Hi everyone, can you hear me? Wow, you're all here already. I can see Jamila, Barbara Harty, Heather. Jamila, you are in the right live. What we're saying is dull and cold here in Sheffield. Forecast snow for most of the country for tomorrow, but I'm beginning to think that was a hoax as my weather app is saying sunny all day. Alison D saying hi everyone. Alison D saying yes, Ashley, so you can hear me. Brilliant. Thank you for that. So I'm not sure weather-wise myself, but I know Hannah has told me that Wednesday and Thursday is supposed to be nice here, but she's not mentioned anything about tomorrow or Tuesday. Hi Jamila. So I can see that people are jumping on, so I'll give it a few more minutes. I've not got my microphone with me today. I forgot to get it, so hopefully you can hear me fine. And we're going to be doing something in Canva again. Hi JD Cougar. Alison D saying, I'm making the Easter garland that's in canvas. It's for my niece, age 9, to make together. Oh, that sounds great. Jamila saying she's had to turn up the volume but can hear me. Hazel saying sunny all week in Nottingham. Heather, I'm all right, thank you. Are you? Bunny on the garland, Alison's saying. So JD Cougar saying, I can hear you fine and see your screen. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Hi Vicky. We have been melting like crazy for the last few days, but predicting ice rain for tomorrow. Wow. So changeable so quickly, Vicky. So, I know for the last few weeks I've kind of not seemed really very organised. I've got quite a lot of things going on at the moment that are taking me away from being able to concentrate on kind of crafting. I've managed to get a couple of videos filmed this week for my Tuesday pre-recorded videos, and a couple of people. Now I know, I'm sure Jamila was one of them, that had asked me about how to possibly do something, and that was putting like photographs within letters. And then somebody else on here, and I'm really sorry, but I usually write things down on my pad, and I think that the page on my pad has got that full. I've ripped it off, so I can't remember. But somebody else who's normally on here on a Sunday asked me what other things we could use Canva for. So I thought today we'd just kind of have a look, and I'll see if I can give you a couple of ideas, and then you can kind of try things out yourself. So Makers, a while ago, some of you will know that when kind of Makers first started launching the SDX 2200, they asked me would I get involved and do some projects with them from time to time, and They came to my house a couple of times and we did a Facebook Live on their Facebook page. And then with COVID, that kind of all stopped and we just did some Zoom live meetings on their Facebook page, or via Zoom, but but via Zoom for makers. And they've asked me a couple of times if I could maybe do something with them on their Facebook. And then obviously I hurt my back last year and I was out of action for a good 3 months or so. And then my back kind of went again Christmas time. And they'd asked me if there was any possibility of doing something with them, and I said yes there was. And then when I started feeling better, I contacted them and said, look, if you want to do something, we can do something. So hence that's why I tried to make some time last Monday to do the the keyring projects for them, which was hosted on their Facebook page, but I uploaded it to my YouTube channel last Friday. So if you've not seen the keyring projects that I did for makers, once you've finished here, just go and have a look here on my YouTube channel and you'll see the video that I posted Friday just gone, which was, I'm trying to look, the 18th, and it was a semi-cleaned up version of the live I did for them last Monday, which was the 14th. Okay, so that's kind of that. I can see that people are saying hello, more and more people are jumping on, and I can see that a couple of people have asked how Eddie is. So Eddie now, touching wood, is hopefully recovered, but last week was really, really poorly. Some of you probably know that he goes to daycare a couple of days a week, and he's only going for half days at the moment, and he goes on a Monday and a Friday, and we're trying to extend the time that he's there so that when Hannah's golf season starts in a couple of weeks, if any of her golf is on a Monday or Friday, I can put him in daycare and I've got a day where I can spend to travel and go and watch her play golf and then get back in time to pick him up. But since he's been going there, he's had 2 bouts of illness. So the first lot, he had sickness and diarrhea, some of you may remember. Can't remember when that was. I think it was it the other side of Christmas? I honestly can't remember. So he went last Friday, not this Friday just gone, not like 2 days ago, the Friday before, and he seemed fine when I picked him up. And on Saturday night, he started being sick, and proper sick, proper poorly sick, bless him. And he was being sick until 3 o'clock in the morning, like Sunday morning, the early hours of Sunday morning. Then he managed to sleep, and I didn't feed him because I remember last time the vet said try and starve him for, a good amount of time, but he wasn't drinking either. And then on the Sunday night, I gave him a tiny, tiny little bit of scrambled egg, just plain scrambled egg, and literally 2 teaspoons, and he didn't really want to eat it, and I think he literally only had a mouthful. And 2 hours later, he was being sick again, about another 3 times. So he was kind of sick an awful lot over that weekend. Monday morning, he kind of seemed a little bit perkier, but still didn't want to eat and wouldn't drink. So I ended up phoning the vet, and they said because he's only like 6.5 months old, they were more bothered about him not drinking than not eating. And they told me to bring him in last Monday. So the poor thing had his temperature checked, had an injection in the back of his neck to supposedly take the sickness away. And I was told to leave it an hour, and then I was told to just feed him plain boiled rice and chicken. And he was a good little soldier at the vet, bless him. So Monday night, about 7:30, I did what the vet said and gave him some plain boiled rice and some chicken, just a little bit, and he loved it. He ate it. They gave him some of that hydrate drink, which he loves, so he had some of that, and then he started drinking water, and then he gave him another little tiny bit of food a bit later on Monday night, because bearing in mind he would not have eaten since like Saturday tea time. So gave him a little bit more on Monday night, and he managed to sleep through the night and kept the food down. Still was feeling sorry for himself, bless him, but he did start picking up as he got the food inside him. So he's back on his own food now, and he seems fine. So yeah, so everyone, thank you for asking. So that's why I wasn't here last Sunday. I literally just wanted to, be with him and look after him, because I honestly didn't know if he was going to be throwing up again in the middle of my live. And he was a poorly puppy, bless him. So it's kind of like, I know he loves going to the daycare, but it's like, what do you do? I mean, he only goes really. Initially, Hannah wanted him to go so that he could socialise with other dogs, but he kind of only really goes to give me some time to do some work on my own, because I think I've probably mentioned that he's absolutely adorable in every way, but he hates being left on his own. So, for me to try and do some work, he literally, if he's left on his own, just literally barks and howls all the time. And I've been told, that's what happens to some cockers. And we kind of knew that, but I've spoken to some people, I spoke to a lady, funnily enough, on a walk recently, and she'd had in her lifetime 6 cockers. And I think she said 2 of them had this kind of separation anxiety, but the other 4 hadn't. And I've spoke to other people that have said no, not in the slightest. And I spoke to somebody else that said, yeah, hers is the same, or his is the same. So it's kind of weird. So when I did the Facebook Live, I parked my car on the drive, and it's shaded and it was a cool day. So I put him in the car, and he seemed fine, sat in the car on the drive. I couldn't hear him barking or howling the whole time I did that live. But, it's not an ideal solution, is it really? He's got to kind of get over it. And I've just seen JD Cougar say, get him a kitty or a puppy. And it's funny because Hannah said, can't we get him a little friend? And I said, no, because it'd be just our luck to get him a little friend, and that'd be the same, and we'll end up with 2 of them with kind of separation anxiety. So he's kind of got to learn, and it's hard, it really is. And I am trying. I've been working with 2 trainers with him. One of them said to hand feed him, because that mentally tires them out. So while I'm hand feeding him, I'm training him, like, making him sit and wait and holding food under his nose and saying leave it, and he does all that. And that's kind of like mentally tiring, apart from, just taking them out on a walk, which really doesn't kind of really tire them out, because they can walk and walk and walk. Dogs seem to have limitless energy. So I've kind of been struggling a little bit with that, but the only reason I wasn't here last week was because he really was proper poorly, and I was worried about him. And Hannah was away, so I was stuck with him on my own. She was in Portugal, winter training again, so I literally was just here with him on my own. And it was, I just didn't want to look at him suffering, and he just kept, bless him, he kept moving around the house and dumping himself on the floor and sleeping. And then he'd come and see me, and I'd pick him up and he'd lie on me and he'd have a cuddle, and then he'd get warm and he'd get off and he'd go and sit on the stairs where it's cool. Or so he was proper sick, bless him. But hi Lynn, I'm fine, I've not even started yet. Hi Yolandi. So yeah, so that was why I wasn't here last week. But anyway, so like I say, I know somebody had said to me, what other things can we do in Canva relating to kind of like our crafting or card making? And then I think it was Jamila sent me a picture of something and said, can we do this with the ScanNCut? And I think I replied and said, no, you can't do it really with the ScanNCut indirectly, or directly, but you could probably do something like it in Canva. So because, as usual, like I am over the last few weeks, not very organised, I thought we'd look at Canva. So first of all, I want to try and address what Jamila had asked me for. So I'm in Canva and I'm just going to choose custom size, which is up at the top right hand corner, and I'm assuming that you can all see that. I'm looking at it on my phone and my iPad. We do love him, Jamila. You know, he's adorable. He absolutely idolises Hannah. I mean, he's, you know, I bought him for her, but we live together. You know, so, but the responsibility seems to be more on me for him than Hannah, because obviously she's a golf professional now and she's got to concentrate on, you know, doing that for a living. So, but yeah, it's not nice when they're poorly, and you know, especially when he was sick as much as he was sick. You know, I mean, he still is only a baby. In fact, I've just looked at the date. I mean, I know I've just typed it into the heading on this YouTube title, but it hasn't dawned on me until literally just now as we're speaking. It's the 20th of March. So he was born on the 20th of August. So he's 7 months old today. So, you know, he was like kind of 6.5 months when he was sick the other week. And he, you know, he still is only a baby. And, you know, when they're poorly like that, and he is adorable. JD Cougar saying, hope Hannah has a great year this year, wishing her best of luck. Oh, thank you. Need to cuddle him a lot. Yeah, he gets lots of cuddles. Yeah, he does. He gets upset when he's left, but he's kind of got to get used to that, you know, because there are times when he just can't come with me or Hannah all the time. So, but yeah, anyway, whatever. What will be, will be. Right, okay, so we're in Canva. For anybody that doesn't know, I only use the free version of Canva. There is a paid for version that I believe you can do more with, but I just use the free version. So we're just going to have a look round Canva again tonight and see how we can use it in other ways for card making. And then I just want to show Jamila something, because I'm sure she'll tell me if it was her that, I'm sure it was Jamila that sent me the thing where it was like letters with photographs in it. Hi Susan, don't worry, it's fine. I've just been telling everybody why I wasn't here last week because Eddie was so poorly. So we literally are only just starting. So what I'm going to do to start off with is I am going to choose an A4 page in, what's this? Horizontal. So this is landscape, isn't it? Yeah. So what this white area that you see on screen now is basically just going to represent an A4 piece of cardstock. So Jamila's saying, my sooty and sweep are 11 this year and she still gets upset if I leave her. Oh no. They are funny, aren't they? They do get attached. It was you, Jamila. I thought it was. Right, so Jamila basically sent me a picture a few weeks ago of some words, and within the words were photographs. Now, that is not something that you can do in Canvas Workspace, but I did send you the photos and ask about it. Yeah, okay, I thought it was you. But you can kind of do something along the lines in Canva, okay? So if we come to elements over on the left-hand side of Canva, and for anybody that's just come in late, like Susan or anybody else, and you know, just as a reminder, the version of Canva I use is the free version. Hi Thea. You were the one that originally asked for the Canva tutorial. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was you or somebody else that asked what else could we use Canva for. It's somebody that's asked me the question in the last couple of weeks. And you did it in the Cricut software. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that you could probably do it in that, but I wasn't sure. Just got home from visiting my son. Oh, don't worry, Thea, we've not even started yet. So in Canva, if you come to where it says elements at the top, and there are some kind of prompts along here, but in the search box, if you type grids, it will bring up all these grids, okay? And if you scroll down, eventually you will get to some grids, and these grids are like placeholders. I have kind of shown this before, but never really gone into it in any great detail. But if you scroll, I can't even speak tonight, sorry. If you scroll down through these grids, and Hannah's just taken Eddie out for a walk with a friend, so he's not here now, else I'd have shown you him. But I'll try and get a picture of him this week and post it on my Instagram or something like that. Right, so let's keep scrolling and hope that I've not passed them while we've been chatting. Eventually we should get to, I may have passed them. Let's go back up. We should get to some letters. Let me put in letter grids and see if that comes up. No, that's not going to bring it up. It's that law, isn't it, that when I want it, I'm not going to be able to find it. Let's put alphabet grids and see if we get... No, so we'll just go back to grids. You just have to bear with me, everyone, I'm sorry. So Jamila's saying, but can't send it to ScanNCut from that, so had to print it out from there. Well, yeah, kind of that would be what you would have to do in Canva. Could you not save it as an SVG, Jamila? And then put it on a USB stick or something and do it that way? And you want to use your ScanNCut, obviously not your Cricut, yeah. Katie's saying, late but happy to get to watch live from WA State. Love your how-to videos. Oh, welcome, Katie. Don't worry, I've literally only just started. Hi, Derek. Hope you're okay. Right, let's find these flipping grids. I'm sure they're under this grids, unless they're under something else, but I think they're in grids, so you'll just have to bear with me, everyone, while you go to the frame. Ah, right, okay. After the frames. Right, hang on, let me keep scrolling then, because sometimes my elements in Canva take a while to load. I thought they were in here, but I thought they came straight after those grids. But maybe not. So if I'm in the wrong place, so Jamila, am I in the wrong place? Am I not in elements and grids? Where should I be looking? Because I can't remember, my mind's going blank. I thought they were in here. Okay, let's have a look. So you're saying frames. Let's type in frames then and see. Ah, okay, you're right, they're here, aren't they? That's it, they're in here with all the shapes. I thought they came after the grids. Right, okay, perfect, thanks Jamila. Right, so As you can see, anything that's like this with the like blue sky and the kind of green, you know, kind of grassy area, these are all kind of placeholders. So if I bring on A, B and C, and let me just select them all and size them down a bit. I can now drop anything I want into these. In fact, I'll make them a bit bigger because it might be easier to see initially. So these literally are, when I first started using Canva, I remember looking at these and thinking, what the heck are these? You know, why do you need this green kind of grass and the sky and a cloud? And then it kind of dawned on me what they were. So they're basically placeholders, and anything you drop into these will fill within whatever shape you choose. So I don't know if putting it on a deeper background will show you what I mean, but if I now go to my uploads, which is under elements, and all the things I've uploaded, you know, like all the thumbnails I make for my YouTube videos and things I do for my blog are all in here. And here's a couple of Eddie. And then obviously the rest are all kind of like, you know, projects I make and stuff I put on my blog, okay? So what's Jamila saying? I think these will only let you use one pic per letter unless you can do it like a photo I sent you. No, you basically, I think, can only put one photo per letter, but we're going to try it out and see. We're kind of just going to do an experiment with Canva tonight, and then I'm going to go on to something else to give you some ideas of how else you can use Canva in your card making, etc. So if I grab this picture of Eddie here when he was howling at me one morning and drop it into the letter A, you can now see that that A shape has taken on the picture of Eddie. If I grab the key ring I showed how to make in the Makers Facebook Live the other day, you can see now that the letter B has taken on the shape of my keyring that was taken a picture of on its background. Maybe I'll take the purple out. It's not really helping, is it? So if I come back to uploads, let's find something else. So let's find a card I've made. I'll drop some cards I've made. So this was a set of cards I made that I sent out as thank you gifts. So you can see now my letter C is filled with the images. Now I don't believe you can drop more than one picture in, but we'll have a go. So this picture of Eddie, I'm going to double click on it and I can, or I should be able to resize it now. It's not, see, I can make it bigger and I can move him around. So if there was a part of your picture that you wanted to be prominent within your letter, so I've kind of dragged him out to make, because he was kind of like howling at me one morning and I just happened to take a photograph of him, which I thought was quite funny. And then if I click done up here, you'll see now that his head is more within the shape, but it doesn't seem to want to let me drop another photograph in it. So if I grab a different photograph and drop it in, it goes over the picture of Eddie. So you can only drop one photograph in at any one time, but you can double click on it and kind of, you know, move it around and make it bigger and then click done, and it will kind of edit the design, if that makes sense. Edit what you drop into that letter. So let's drop this one into the B, and you might have more, you might be able to see more of an idea of that one now. So this was my little robot project. If I see if I can drop that, no, that wants to go to the whole background, so that's no good showing you that. But so these are like placeholders basically. Now this isn't exactly what Jamila wanted. I think from memory she wanted to type, let's say, hello as a word and then drop photographs in it. And I had a look at it at the time she messaged me, and kind of had a quick play with it and couldn't get it to work. Now, whether you can in the paid for version, I honestly don't know. But like if I'll get another picture of Eddie and drop him in here, and I'll double click and make him bigger, and then I'll click done. So can you see now how he's filling that letter B? So you can do it, but you've basically got to use these predetermined letters. You can't, let me just select all these and make that smaller just to move it out of the way. You can't, for instance, go to the text and type hello. And let me just go back a minute. And then go back to my uploads and grab Eddie and drop him in the letter. It won't let you do it. Look, it just sits on top of the canvas. So the only way that I can see that you can do it in Canva for free is to use these letters. So if you wanted to type the word hello, you'd literally have to bring on your letters one by one. And we're running out of space on the page here. Let me see if I can get, I don't know if it'll let me put one off the page. No, it won't. So we'd literally have to make them smaller, grab an O, and then size that down until we get them all roughly the same size. We could go to position, align them all on the bottom so they all line up, and then you can go back to your uploads and drop your photos in each letter. So I'm just literally picking random photographs here that are in my uploads, and then, and that you can see that O's too big because there we go. So that should all be the same size now. Once you've got them all together, you could make them a group. Let's get rid of the 3 at the top. And then if you wanted to put these on a card, bearing in mind that this is an A4 piece of paper, and if we scored it down the middle, you'd have to size this down to fit. But I can't see that there's any way to elongate it down. It only seems to want to, let's ungroup it and see. If we click an H, see there's no way that we can make the H taller. The only way we can take it or adjust it in size is in proportion that I can see. I can't see that we can kind of unlock the aspect ratio. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of not ideal. So let me see what you're saying. These are fab, but I'm an old biddy with high standards and need more pics per letter. Yeah. Can you not resize the second pic? Can you make an array of some photos first and then drop them? Yeah, you could. What you could do, Vicky, you could go to, so like, let's go back to elements and to the grids. And then if you look at the grids here, you've got all these options which give you loads more placeholders for photos. So let's try and find one that's got lots of small boxes and see. Excuse me. I wanted to put them in a frame as we lost a man I was making them about, yeah. Does it do process overlap function like ScanNCut canvas? I don't think it does, Vicky. I'm not sure. I've not kind of had a lot of time to play with it, but bearing in mind this is a free version. I mean, you know, it's quite comprehensive, but it kind of does have its limits. So let's just go for this one. Okay, so let's get rid of them. So this frame, I'm going to make it a bit smaller, or this grid I should say, has got more elements. So if we go back to uploads, and I'm literally just going to, you know, this isn't going to be the perfect thing to try, but we're just going to dump images in, and basically what you do, you hover over the section that you want to put your designs in. See, like this one's got 2 elements here. Let's just fill it up with anything. Okay, so that is a kind of a placeholder for what, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images. If we make that smaller, let's go back to the frames. I forgot where we were again. Was it in? It wasn't in elements. So let's grab recently used. So let's try the H. So if we drop the H on and then see if we can drop that in there, and it won't because this is an element already. So it won't let us drop this section of photographs into this frame because this is already a frame. But can we kind of do anything else with it? Copy style, link, transparency. Then we've got lock, duplicate and send to the bin. In position, we can just use the normal alignment positions. Animate, what does that do? That literally just animates it. So we can't really do anything with that. Like if I'm touching this, and if you watch, if I hover over fade, did you see it flinch? And if I hover over pan, so that's all that's doing. Spacing is the space in between the grids. So if we wanted to make the spaces bigger or smaller, we can do that. But I can't see that we can then drop this into this element. So what does link do? That's lock. Link. Enter a link or search. No, so that's just asking for a link. So it doesn't look as though we can kind of make it in another grid and then drop it within here. I mean, there's loads of shapes that you can use, but I know Jamila wanted a specific, like she's saying, she wanted to make a specific frame for somebody. Maybe just the paid version has the resize. I honestly don't know. Save the array as a JPEG and try it, good idea. So let's download it as, I'll do it as a PNG, Vicky, and we'll say download, and then I'll wait for it to drop in my downloads folder. Then I'll come back. Oh, that's not what I want. I'll come back to uploads, upload media. I'll go to the downloads folder. this is probably going to work now, Vicky. Now you've said that. Good thinking. So then we'll go back to elements and we'll try the H again. Let's make it bigger just so that we can see it. And then I'll go to uploads and drag in. No, it's not letting me do it. Right, let's undo that. So let's try saving it as a JPEG like Vicky said. So download, because that was a PNG, but I would have thought it would do it with a PNG, because a PNG is basically just not including the background, isn't it? But we'll try it and see. So we'll go upload media. We'll find the JPEG. Oh, and I think it's saved that as well, hasn't it? Let's get rid of that. Right, let me clear this out of my downloads folder. Hang on, sorry. Right, so we've got this. Let's make it bigger. Okay, so we'll go download JPEG and download. So now we've only got this grid of images, hopefully, that's being saved. We'll go upload, find the JPEG, so now that's dropped into my downloads folder. Now I'll make this grid smaller just to get it out of the way. We'll go to elements, we'll bring in the H, make it bigger just so that we can see it better on the screen, and we'll come back to uploads and we'll drag the grid of images in. Now you can see, because the H is more of a portrait design and the JPEG I saved is a landscape design, it's not fitting very well. But this is where you can then drag it out and manipulate it so it fills. So it obviously mustn't have liked me saving it as a PNG, but it's obviously been okay with it being a JPEG. So good thinking, Vicky. And if I now click done, this grid we made here of all these pictures is now in this letter. It still isn't what Jamila wanted, but it is another way of being able to use images within shapes. So let's see what Vicky's saying, because Vicky's thinks a lot better about this stuff than me. So Jamila's saying you lost me, Vicky, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It doesn't do process overlap. Denise, my friend has the paid version. She says it does a lot more. Okay. It's saving the whole page, yeah. JD Cougar, you got it. This could work, girls. Thank you, Ashley and Vicky. Okay. But it's kind of still not what you wanted, I don't think, really, is it? Because you wanted a word, didn't you? Which, you know, this isn't, but I don't know. But at least now with Vicky's help, we know that if we made the grid using the grids, so if you get to elements and you type in grids up at the top here, it will bring all the grids up. And then we chose a grid right down near the bottom, which was this one with the, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10 elements. But you could do it with any of these grids. And then we saved that grid as a JPEG. You can then come back to elements and choose a frame, which are shapes, or give you these individual letters and numbers, because there's not only letters, there's numbers as well. and then all these other shapes within here. You're kind of just going to have to go through the different sections and see what's in here. So Hannah's just brought Eddie home. So if you can hear him running up and down and water splashing around, it's because he's just come running in and gone to his bowl for a big glug of his water. You could then put that set of photographs, if you like, within any of these frames. So Eddie, sit down. So let's get rid of the H. Oh no, undo, I've got rid of the wrong one. So let's select this and delete this element. So like we've got this frame here with the flowers on. So if we wanted to, let's go back to uploads and find our JPEG, you can put that JPEG then within that frame. Eddie, it's okay, she's just gone back out again. She'll be back in a minute. So then, if you wanted to use that in card making, let's get rid of this set. Let me move that out of the way a minute. Grab this, delete this. So remembering that this white background is an A4 piece of paper, you could then resize this down to fit, you know, on half of your piece of paper. So let's just go to elements and let's go to lines and let's just find a straight line. So if we rotate this line to make it vertical, and let me just make it smaller for now. And if I hover over, you'll see a pink line appears. That's the middle. So just kind of think of this black line I'm just showing you on screen is the centre of your piece of card. You wouldn't obviously print this with that line there, but then you could kind of position this and then you could use the text, you know, to type something. You know, like happy birthday or something like that. I mean, this is just very crudely done. And then what you would do, you'd get rid of this black line, you'd delete it, you'd save this as a PNG or a PDF if you want, and download it, and then you'd print that. You'd put an A4 piece of white card in your printer and you'd print that, and then you'd score and fold it down the middle, and you'd have what we call in the UK an A5 card, which is basically half a piece of A4. So a piece of A4 folded in half, if that makes sense. Eddie. Okay, so let's see what you're all saying now. Okay, I need to go back to the comments. I'm missing comments. No, not totally, but it will do if I place the pics properly. Got Canva and following on my laptop. Missed how got it into landscape. Can you show again? Yeah, I'll show that again in a minute, Heather. I can make that smaller. Lynn's saying, what happens if you click on the lock? Would that unlock aspect ratio? Lock? I think, no, it just locks you from being able to move it on the page, Lynn. So, right, hang on a second. So let me go back to, unlock. Okay, so lock just locks the element on your page. Then I can print larger photo in the end. Fill the page with a grid before you save it, so there's no extra white space. Okay. Yes, here, Eddie getting a drink. He's a noisy devil. Haven't got all the extra things on mine that Ashley has. Well, mine's only the free version, so I'm not sure why you've not got the things that I've got. Oh, Ashley, you are a diamond. You have just given me another way around this. I could use the frame. Okay, do you need an update? This would make a great design element for lots of things, JD Cougar's saying. Okay, so let's get rid of all this. So if I go back to home, and how I got the custom size was I go to home, and then over on the right hand side here it says custom size, and because I've used Canva in a few lives and I've put sizes in, it's remembered my recent sizes. So a UK piece of cardstock in landscape is 11.69 by 8.26 or thereabouts, and when you click that, that gives you that. Okay, if I go back to home and go custom, and I do 8.26 by 11.69, and this is inches, and the way you do that is up on the top here, you change where it says px, which is pixels, you change it to inches, and then you type your width and your height, or your height and your width, whichever way around you want it. So if I choose 8.26 by 11.69, it's now giving me a portrait size piece of A4 paper. So I hope that makes sense. And that now leads me on to the other part of the question, which was how else can we use Canva in our card making? So I tend to make a lot of what we call A6 cards here in the UK, which is, I think, kind of equivalent to A2 in the US, which is basically a piece of A4 card cut in half, either on this short side, and then you've got two kind of base cards and you'd fold each one in half, or cut in half this way vertically, and you've got two pieces of card which you then fold in half and you make two cards. I hope that makes sense. So that's probably more how I would use it, but you know, sometimes you want a bigger card, so that's how I've just shown you with the other A4 piece of card, just using it as one big piece of card. Hello, mister. I'm busy, mate. Okay, go and have a sit down now. Hannah will be back soon. So let's just go back to the elements, and let me grab this line. So this is just under the lines and shapes, and I'm just going to drag it down until I see that pink line appear across my page. So that basically means that this black line that hopefully you can see on screen is now in the middle of this A4 piece of imaginary card. So if I cut that along there, I've got two base cards, okay? So let's just extend it out from side to side for now, because you wouldn't print with this. This is just like a visual aid, okay? So before I go any further, let me just see what we're saying. So we don't need to go into the section where it says, what do you want to make? No, Jamila, you just go to home, and underneath that section where it says custom, in that box you change it to inches if you work in inches, and you type what size you want. And you know, if I was making cards, I would more than likely print them on A4 cardstock, so that's what I start off with as a base. Now if we come back to elements, and let's type in flowers, because this is something that I looked at. There's a nice border of flowers here. So if we rotate it, and then if we positioned it up, say in the top right hand corner, and dragged it out, we could position that like so. And with it selected, if I hit duplicate up here in the top right hand corner and make a duplicate of it and position that in the same place. And when I say position that in the same place, if I select it and move it about, you should be able to see on the screen at the top now, the top image has got a pink dotted line down the left hand side, and that means that this bottom one is now lined up with the left edge of this one. Okay, so now I've got a piece of card that's got two elements positioned on the right hand side. If I select this black line and delete it, if I now downloaded this as a PDF and printed this, I could then chop this in half at, what is it, 5 7/8 is half of an A4 piece of cardstock. I would now have two base cards that have got like a printed flower border on the right hand side, and then you'd fold them in half this way. So let me grab my, where's my line element again? Let's rotate this around again. So imagine that's half. So it might, there you go. This line here now, imagine that you've printed this whole thing out, you've chopped this in half here across the middle. So you've got two base cards, and then you score and fold this where this black line is. Obviously you wouldn't print this, I'm just trying to use it as a visual aid for you. And this becomes one card and this becomes two. So that's a way of using it. You could also just literally drag this out to fill the whole one side of your card, but as you're dragging it out, it's getting bigger. So you're going to lose some of the definition. So I would be more inclined to make it smaller to fit one half of your card and then duplicate it and position it so it lines up. Does that make sense, everybody? This would make a great design element for lots of things. All clear now, thanks, Heather's saying. What will happen to the part hanging off the card? It won't print, because your printer will only print on your card. So you don't have to have it hanging off. You could put the whole thing on it like this. But, you know, sometimes it looks a bit manufactured. Sometimes you want things to kind of, you know, like when we're stamping elements or we're making, if anybody's ever watched me do like one sheet wonders where I use a stamp set and I stamp all over a piece of cardstock, you kind of want your elements to hang off the page. So sometimes it looks a little bit more realistic if you have them hanging off. So that was the only reason why I kind of put them hanging off, but there's no reason whatsoever why you couldn't, you know, position them so they are there. Or what you could do, you could, let's rotate them back. Let's get rid of that one. So let's bring our line back in again and rotate this line. Let's just move that out of the way. So let's imagine, where's the middle? Right, that's gone pink now. So let's just drag this line down. So let's just imagine that you want like a 10 fold card. So you'd have an A4 piece of paper normally that you'd cut down the middle. So what you could do, again, you could position this, you could make it smaller, you could duplicate it, line this one up with it, and then you'd print this without this black line, and then you'd cut that down the middle. So you've got two base cards with a design at the bottom, and then you'd score and fold here. So I'm just using this black line as a visual aid, so I'd get rid of that. So that would be how I would send that to my printer. That's really pretty actually, isn't it? Imagine if you print that, cut that down the middle, and then score and fold it this way and have a 10th folding card. with this printed element here, and then you could either stamp something, or you could, you know, use the text to put happy birthday or congratulations for whatever, or it just kind of opens up more use for Canva in your card making, I think. And that, I think that was, you know, one of the original questions I was asked: how else can we use Canva in our card making? I can see the folded one as place setting name. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. JD Cougar saying, oh, so I don't delete it then. Now I get it. Okay, you understand. I don't use this program much. I have overloaded my poor brain with all the programs. I know. Very pretty. Okay. So Charlotte's saying, being lazy, I'd score before I put the card. Yeah, easily. You could score it before you put it in your printer. It's kind of just giving you options. If you're lucky enough to have a printer that can print 12 by 12, then you could actually print scrapbook layouts. So you'd go back to home. You wouldn't use this create a design bit, you'd come to custom size, you'd change the pixels here to inches or millimeters or centimeters, whatever you work in. I work in inches, and you'd type 12 by 12 and create new design, and that's now going to give you a 12 by 12 base. So like I say, if you've got a printer that can print bigger and you can put 12 by 12 in it, you could actually just print your own scrapbook pages without having to, you know, cut mats and layers and that kind of thing. So you could, again, you could come to the elements, you could add text, you could add shapes. Let's go to shapes. So, you know, you might want to drag on this kind of shape and maybe a rectangle shape to do some journaling. You might want to come to the elements and come to flowers again. And let's have a look at this border. You know, choose a printed border. Let's see what else there is. I think you can layer your elements as well. Let's, like, you could choose this and you could put like a flower on here. So let's just say, you know, your matting layers, you might want this a slightly different colour. If we click on the colour swatch, you can come to up here where it says plus to add a new colour, and you can come in your colour wheel and choose any of your colours and then move your colour around. And then you could layer this flower element over it. This element here, you might want to use, let's go to frames instead of, let's come back to our frames and see if there's a frame in that shape or any other kind of shape. Here we go, there's a frame, so we'll get rid of that and we'll bring this on. So this is like a placeholder. We could position that, we could go back to our uploads and we can drag in our photograph, and you kind of build in a digital scrapbook layout. I mean, this is very crude. You know, I know you people have got a lot more imagination than I've got when it comes to stuff like this, but you know, you could drop in a picture, you could put you know, some text in here which you could use from the text box. You know, you could put in Eddie, You know, like I say, this is all very crude, but then you could add in other stuff. You can add other elements. This would all print. So this would all print as one layout for you. So let's see what we're saying. Lynn's saying 12 by 12 eco tank printer in my dreams. Wish I lived in the USA. They're as cheap as chips compared to here. Look on eBay. Jamila's saying I want to go to USA. To sewing is better over there too. There really is so much this program. There's loads you can do, and even I've not even scratched the surface with it. There's so much that you can do, but this, I can't emphasize enough, this is the free version. So I'm only working with the free version. So you should all have this same stuff in here. So you've got templates. So, you know, if you, let's just get rid of all this. If you need to make a save the date for whatever reason, you can use the templates that are in here. It might not be save the date. You can double click on it and save the wording. You know, this one says Patrick Anderson's bachelor party. You could make that whatever you want it to make. You can, just because these are templates doesn't mean you have to use them like this. So let's see what else there is. Here's another one, the big annual super sale. So, you know, if you run a group, a brownie group or a scout group or, you know, whatever, or a craft group, and you want to make your posters or banners, you know, again, bearing in mind we're working with a 12 by 12 here, but if we go back to home and go to custom size and we choose our A4, you can still then, you know, choose templates that will fit on your A4, you know, like look at this cricket tournament. Oh no, that might be a paid for. Let's just hang on. Oh, that's a paid for. So you've obviously got to look for the free ones. It will let you put it on your page, but it won't let you print it unless you pay for it. Let's see what else there is. What's this? So let's drop that on. So here are some kind of labels. You know, you could change these to vinyl, coffee, you know, just use them, change them as you will. If you click on one, if you click on this one, you'll see the colours up here. If you don't want it this purpley colour, you just click on the colour swatch. I've got some default colours down here because I've used the program for a while and it kind of saves colours that you've used in the past. So, you know, if we want it pink, I've changed, when I click off it, let me click away, I've now changed that purpley border to a pink border. So there's so much you can do with it. Let's see what else we're saying. So Barbara's saying you could print pages of images to cut out on the ScanNCut and then use as toppers on cards. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like going all the way back to the beginning where we, you know, put all those photographs in that grid and then we dropped that, we saved it as a JPEG and we dropped it into a letter. You could print that letter out with all those photographs in and then scan that through your ScanNCut and get your ScanNCut to cut it out for you. So let's go back to elements. No, uploads. So let's go back to frames. Under elements. So under elements, you type in frames and then it will bring up all these different frames. So let's go and find let's do a letter M and we'll make it bigger just so that you can see it. Then we'll go back to uploads, upload media. Oh no, don't want that, sorry. Let's get rid of frames up there. So we're back in uploads now. So if you've got things in the search box, it won't always bring up what you expect that you've got in Canva, okay? So because I still had frames up here. When I went to upload media, it's thinking you've got no frames that you've uploaded. So I've got rid of what was in the search box and it's brought all my photographs. So here's our grid of images that we made at the beginning. So now you could download this letter M with all these images, and you could scan that through your ScanNCut and get your ScanNCut to put an outline around it, and you could cut a matting layer for it with your ScanNCut, and then you'd put your photograph images on a matting layer. Do you see where I'm going? Obviously you probably wouldn't do it this size if you wanted to put it on the front of a card, but you'd size it down accordingly, let's say. Save that, scan that letter M, use ScanNCut data, so you save it into the machine, and then bring the design back up, add an offset which you'd cut, say maybe in say black card, and then you'd layer this letter M that's full of images onto a black layer. Does that make sense? Right, so I think I might be missing some questions, so I'm just going to go back. You could print pages of it. Yeah, we've got that. Fab idea, Barbara. Vicky's saying, yes, Jamila, there are loads of fabric and quilt shops in the USA, not as many in Canada. Paid for have a crown on. Yes, they do. So if anything's got a crown on it, it will let you use it, but it won't let you download it until you've paid for it. And you can just do that for individual items, so you still don't have to buy the paid for version. So if there was something, let's just get rid of this. So let's go back to elements. Let's see, let's just choose picture frames for, so this one, when you hover over it says, hang on, let me get rid of that. So this one, when you hover over it says Pro. So if I drop that onto the page, it will let me, you know, resize it. This one will let me adjust it. This isn't probably a very good example for a portrait piece of paper, but can you see I'm able to resize it? So if I really, really liked this element and I wanted to use it, it's saying here, remove watermark. If I go to download it, it should tell me that I have to pay for it. And this particular image is saying is like in UK, it's 99 pence, okay? So you don't have to buy the paid for version of Canva to use elements that are in what they call the Pro section as like one-off elements. But if you were using it a lot, then there are probably other features within the paid for version that it might be worth you buying it for. Right, let me come back and see what we're saying. So Jamila's saying, can you drop a photo onto the plain sheet? So yes, you can. I'll show you what happens. So if I come back to my uploads and I just drop Eddie, hang on, let me just do that again. So if I hover, I can fill my whole page with him, okay? I'll just choose him and delete him. And if I just drag and drop him, then I can position him and I can shrink him or make him bigger. But if I hold onto my left mouse and drop him, he will fill in the whole page, okay? And then I can print it if I want. Look at this one, this is hysterical. So let me see if it'll fill the whole page again. Let me do it again. Look, that was one morning and I was, I think, trying to put a sock on, and because I was telling him to leave it, he was like howling at me, and I had my phone next to me and I just picked it up and caught him really quickly. It's just absolutely hysterical. So yes, you can fill a whole page is the answer to your question. So Vicky's saying, so am I, Jamila, just started paper crafting in 2020 because I was watching YouTube. Jamila's saying, I bought the ScanNCut to cut fabric and never have cut a single scrap yet. So now's the time to get started, Jamila, cutting fabric. That's so fab, and from here we can print the whole A4 sheet. Yes, because obviously a standard, you know, printer will print A4. But that, what Olaza was saying before was, if you can print bigger, you know, if you can print 12 by 12, you can actually make 12 by 12 layouts. But there's no saying that you can't make a layout on an A4 piece of paper, print it, and then map that onto a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. Do you know what I mean? I'm just kind of trying to give you different ideas. So JD Cougar's saying, I'm not a card maker, but with Canva and cardstock, I will never buy cards again, as they have so many things that can be used in Canva to make anything I would want to send to anybody. Exactly. And it's just another way of really personalising something. I mean, there's no reason whatsoever why you can't use the text in Canva to, you know, put a greeting on a card like I've just shown you, download it, and then print that, and then use your ScanNCut to cut a shape and put that shape then on the front of your card with your already printed personalised greeting. You know, it's kind of sometimes better than using the ScanNCut pens, because again, you can use all these different fonts. So, you know, just because this says sweet doesn't mean to say it has to say sweet. So if we double click, we can make this hello, and we can size it down. And again, you know, working on the principle that if we cut this piece of card in half to get 2 base cards, we can duplicate this, and we could have hello printed twice, cut this down the middle, and then add a shape on with your ScanNCut. Or this could say, you know, thinking of you. Thinking of you. Let's just get rid of that. Drag this out so it's kind of all on one line, and then let's resize it down so it would fit on the bottom of our card, and then you'd cut this in half. This could be, let's just make that smaller, this could be thinking of you. Then we could duplicate it, double click, and this one could be congratulations, if I can spell it right. And we line them both up together, because as you move them about, you'll see there's the pink line, which means that's directly in the middle. So we want to move it over a bit, and we'd probably, you know, maybe want to line them both up in the same place. So you can see as I'm moving the congratulations around, the pink lines are appearing above the thinking of you. So that means that these two are kind of lined up on the same height now. You could print that, cut this in half, and you've got one card that says thinking of you and another card that's got congratulations already on it. They don't need to be pink again. If you click on, say, congratulations, and come up to the top of the page where it says A, and if you hover over it, it says text colour. It tells you what the text is, by the way, up here, and what size it is. You can see it's in pink. I could use blue, a colour that I've used previously, or I can come to the box that's got the plus in it, and I could go into the greens, and then I could move this dot around on the green, and I could choose any shade within the greens, and I could make it green. So you can see, you can kind of play about with it and make it personal to you. So what am I missing now? So you can put multiples on it, definitely. Just need a real good printer and lots of ink. Well, that, JD Cougar, that goes back to me saying, if you remember, I don't know when it was, last time I was talking, doing an online thing, probably another Canva thing. I have a HP printer, and I have the, is it called Instant Ink? I can never remember what it's called, but I know some of you on here use it. And instead of paying £25 a time for the cartridges, I pay something like £2.49 a month, and I can print up to 50 A4 pages a month, and it just works out a lot cheaper. And that's where having Canva then and being able to do stuff like this just makes it really cost effective. And then again, you know, let's go back to elements. Let's choose flowers again, just as a for instance. But, you know, type anything in these boxes and see what comes up. And let's just find, let's have a look at this little border. So we could shrink this border down maybe. So let's try this. We could put the border in the corner. This might not be the ideal solution, but we could put thinking of you. So if you chop this down the middle now, this card would have this little border with thinking of you. This one could be just plain with congratulations. That maybe, you know, might not be the right example to show you, but you can see that there are all sorts of things in here, so you can layer up. So like we could shrink that one down, and you know, that flower might not necessarily be the right thing to go with congratulations, but can you see what I mean? You can layer up elements, and if they're free, you can print them without having to pay for them. So let me just go back to what we're saying. So Lynn's saying, if you buy an EcoTank printer, they're excellent quality and cheap as chips to run. Ashley, I'm waiting on the rotary blade coming, should be this week, then I'm off there with no stopping me. Brilliant. And I'm going to try the faux leather and HTV. Those key rings you made are beautiful. Yeah, brilliant. And you saw how easy they were to do in the live, didn't you? What else are we saying? Barbara's saying, you helped me to learn ScanNCut and I just started Canva and here you are. Thank you. More videos, please, Barbara King's saying. Okay. Well, Barbara, if you go to my playlists here on YouTube, I think I have a Canva playlist. I know I've definitely covered Canva in the Sunday Night Lives. So if you go to the live playlist, you should be able to find anything I've done in the past with Canva. But I can't remember if I've got a Canva playlist as well, so that might help you anyway. But yeah, you know, we kind of learn together, don't we? Like Vicky came up with the idea of saving a grid as a JPEG and then putting that set of photographs in the frame. So we all kind of work it out together. I'm still learning Canva. Like I said, I've not even scratched the surface. But I think Hannah's going to want a tea soon. So let's just see if there's any last questions or anything. That reminds me, I wanted to ask how to get a pattern off the internet to cut on our ScanNCut. So Jamila, you would need to save it in a format that can be auto-traced in Canvas. So that's from memory, a JPEG, a bitmap, a PNG and a GIF. So you'd save your image, or you'd find an image in one of those formats, save it on your computer, then you'd open Canvas Workspace and you'd use the auto trace function. But that would only give you the outline. If you then wanted to print the design, you'd either have to use the print and cut feature, or you'd save your image, upload it here into Canva, size it, print it, and then scan it through your ScanNCut to get an outline. So there's there's various ways of doing it. Lynn's saying, if you want to print a lot, really cheap net, yet. Never heard of these printers. We'll look into them. Yeah, EcoTank. I've seen people use them. I know a lot of people use them. Is it for sublimation? But I just have a regular HP printer that uses a black cartridge and then the multicoloured cartridge. And I signed up to the HP, I think it's called Instant Ink. and basically you pay a fee per month to print up to a certain amount of A4 pages. So at the moment, I think I pay something like £2.49, and that lets me print up to 50 A4 pieces of paper a month, and any that I don't use are carried over. If you print loads, you know, if you're somebody that's got a sticker business and you're churning out hundreds of pages a month, then you'd pay a higher fee to print more. But any that are unused in a month are carried over to the next month. So, you know, in 1 month, if I say printed 30, it would carry 20 pages over, and then the next month effectively I've got 70 before I get hit for any extra charges. I think that's how it works. I'm sure that's how it works. Sorry, I'm just having a drink of my juice. So Heather's saying, another inspiring session, thanks Ashley, going away to play with Canva now. Yeah, just give it a go, Heather. Thank you, Ashley. Alison's saying, Vicky's saying, are you having time change next week? I think it's next Saturday night. We go, is it forward an hour? So yeah, we are having a time change next week. So 5 o'clock next week would effectively be 6 o'clock in the UK. I'd still be going live at 5, but it would be effectively 6. That's right, isn't it? So what's Lynn saying? No, sublimation printers are a different thing. Okay, EcoTank printers replace the need for a cartridge. All right, okay. But is the EcoTank one where you get like bottles of ink and then you fill up the sections? Or have I got that completely wrong, Lynn? Alison D saying, my 50 sheets instant ink has just gone up to £2.99 and mine rolls over. Okay, there you go. So mine may go up or I don't know. I think I currently pay £2.49. It may well be going up, Alison. I don't know. I don't know how long. Maybe mine's staying at £2.49 now because I don't know. Maybe I get so long before the price goes up. I'm not sure. But, you know, it kind of, to me, they just send you the ink. You don't have to think about going out getting it and paying the £2.49, and they know when your ink's low. You've always got the ink in ready. You know, when I was going to the Tesco's and picking up the black and white and the colour inks, it was about £25 a time, and they seem to be going through a lot at one time. So what's Barbara saying? Really have enjoyed this, Ashley. I forget about Canva as another useful tool. Must do a little experimenting. Have a happy week, everyone. You're a star. Oh, thank you. JD Cougar saying, we had our time change already. Yeah, I think I heard a couple of the American demos saying that their time change was last week. Alison saying, don't forget to hit the like. Oh, thank you. Charlotte saying, yes, thank you yet again. Always new and interesting. Jamila's saying, love the sessions. Vicky's saying, thanks Jamila, we've done ours already last week in Canada and USA. There you go, I thought it was. Creative, so Lynn's saying, yes, bottles of ink and they last forever. Okay, all right, so yeah, so there's kind of options. There's like the EcoTank option then, or there's, if you've got HP printer, buy the instant ink. You just sign up to it online. When I bought my printer, and I plugged it in for the first time, it said to me, do you want to sign up to it? And I just said yes. And it just saves you, it just saves the need for going out and looking for ink cartridges. But I'm sure even if you've got a HP printer already now, you can still go online and sign up for the instant ink. You don't have to do it when you first get a printer. I'm sure you can do it at any time. And you can stop the kind of contract at any time. So yeah, so just give me a minute because Eddie's jumping up at my chair. Just get down a minute, mister. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can switch this to FaceTime camera before we go. All right, wait a minute, mister. Let me see if I can find FaceTime camera. FaceTime camera, let me see if this will load. and then I'll give you, if it might not load because I'm, just bear with me a minute or two, and let me just see if there's any other. Instant ink is great. They know when I run out, comes in the post. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've got a black cartridge sat in my drawer that I've had here for a while, so my black must be getting low. Jamila's saying we got some cheap cartridges and they don't last as long. Yeah, thanks for such another great session, JD Cougar's saying. Let me see if I can find my FaceTime camera. Let me go to, just bear with me, add, let me see if I can add a camera, which is FaceTime. FaceTime, let's see if this will, don't know if this will work, if you just bear with me a minute. Let me see if I can get this to work. No, add a source, add a camera, connect by URL. Sorry, you just have to bear with me a minute, guys. Switcher used to automatically recognise all the different things, and it doesn't now. Where's Eddie gone now? Eddie, come here, mister. Come here. Good boy. Come on. Oh. Oh. Right, you got to sit here and look beautiful for the people. And let's see if they can see you. Right, wait a minute. That's about as low as I can get the FaceTime camera. So I don't know if it's going to swap over. I can see me and Eddie, but on my phone it's not swapped over yet. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. So the camera, no, not my keyboard, mister. Oh, you fall. You're falling. Right, sit there. There we go. Right, can you see him? Look here. Look. What's here? Right, I need to put my glasses on now so I can read your comments to see if you can see him. Hang on a minute, mister. He wants to get on the desk, that's what it is. Right, there. You're there now, Mr. Beautiful. But you need to get your head out of the way so I can see. So Thea's saying he's beautiful. And Jamila's saying, oh wow, he has grown. He has, hasn't he? Hannah calls him a chicken nugget. And he's more like a chicken fillet now than a chicken nugget. Aren't you, mister? And Charlotte's saying he's quite a handsome fellow. Yeah, we say that to him. We call him handsome. Heather's saying he's gorgeous. Cuddle bunny, he definitely is, aren't you, mister? Everybody's loving you. They're all loving you. Do you want to go now? Okay. He says, I've had enough of that. Right, let me read your comments. We can see him. He is turning into a handsome chap. He is. He is gorgeous. Are you coming back? Are you coming back, mister? What are you doing? So, yeah. Let's see what we're saying. Yes, thank you, Jamila. Being away for the weekend to our sons, and it was out all day and late nights. Eddie, come here, mister. Come on, what are you doing? Come on. Go on, monkey. Go on. He says, I want my tea. He's like a big furry bunny, isn't he? Full chicken going on turkey, definitely. Yeah. Hannah's always called him Chicken Nugget. It's funny, and she was calling it him the other day because she's been away again to Portugal winter training, and we went to meet her at the airport, and he goes absolutely berserk. And she's going, oh, he wants to go. She's going, oh, there's my chicken nugget. And I said, no, he's more like a chicken fillet now. But I think you're right, a full-grown chicken or a turkey, most definitely. But he's just a big fluffy bunny. He really is, and he is a handsome chap, bless him. Right, I'm going to go because I need to put some food on for Hannah's tea. So I hope that was helpful to everybody. No idea what we're going to do next week, so if anybody has got any ideas, I've got all his fur up my nose now. Out of my bin, please. He's looking round now for mischief to get up to. So if anybody's got any ideas, just message me. In fact, somebody sent me something today, haven't they? Oh, I'm absolutely shocking at remembering. Let me just close all this stuff down that I've got on my desk. Somebody's messaged me today, haven't they? With a suggestion. So maybe we could look at that, but that would involve using Canvas Workspace. Jamila, everybody, from the minute we got him at, what was he, 8 weeks and 3 days, so 8.5 weeks old, his paws were huge. And from the moment we got him and we were able to take him out for a walk, that's the first thing that everybody says, oh my days, look at the size of his paws. And they still say it now. And I've spent the last, like, don't know how many months saying, yeah, he's got to grow into them. So I don't know how much bigger he's going to get, to be honest. He's just sat down on the floor now, just kind of like looking at me as much as say, come on, I want my food. He's going to make a big lad. Another informative tutorial, Ashley. Thanks again for your time till next week. Take care and stay safe. Yeah, same to you, Lynn. It was another great lesson. Thank you so much. It was so helpful. Thank you. Alison, it was you. Insert cards. Thank you. Do you know, at the moment, my brain, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I really don't. But yeah, so insert cards. So that would probably have to be a Canvas Workspace thing, but I need to play around with it myself before, to kind of feel a little bit confident in showing it in a live. He's definitely fluffy. He's like a big fluffy bear. But he's what's called a show Cocker Spaniel. So he's not a working Cocker Spaniel. They're more... what am I trying to say, slimline, and the noses are thinner. He is a pedigree, he's more for show, so they're a bit stockier and they're a lot more fluffy. But yeah, we love him and he is a handsome chap. And everybody that sees him, I mean, I've had a few people ask to buy him, so yeah, everybody seems to love him. So we have beautiful crocus showing this week and tulips popping up. Yeah, I saw snowdrops when I was walking down our lane the other day. Take care all. Thanks for cheering me up on my sickbed. Oh, bless you, Jamila. Heather saying Easter cards. Okay, yeah. Alison saying no rush. Stress certainly affects memory. Well, yeah, I've got quite a bit of stress going on in my life at the moment, so that could be, yeah. Alison saying, thank you. I always come away with something new from your videos. Well, Vicky, you help me so much, you really do. You prompt me with things, and because sometimes, you kind of try to think of how to do something and you've got a specific way in your head and you kind of draw a blank, and then like you said before, save it as a JPEG, and then that just, yeah, okay, save it as a JPEG rather than a PNG, and it worked. So, I probably would have got there eventually, but when you're doing a live, you kind of want an instant answer, don't you? So you help me so much, Vicky, so thank you. You all do. This is odd, the video froze, but still working. Okay, well, I'm going to go now anyway. Like I say, I'm going to feed Eddie and I'm going to put Hannah's food on. So hopefully I'll see you all next week with some kind of project or other. So keep safe, everybody. Have a good week, and hopefully I'll speak to you all next Sunday.